that it'd be easier for us if this was not an issue. But knowing the president as I do, I think he believes dignity means that everybody is entitled to be judged for allegations against them. Now, what's working against me? We come back to this House because the Speaker has called us here in order to make certain that we provide resources for governors and mayors to maintain our teachers and our firefighters, and Rangel's not on the schedule for anything, which is okay, because I know that the members of the committee, they work hard. It's a selfless job. God knows I wouldn't take it. I respect the time that they placed on this, and it's been almost 2 years, but I have a primary that takes place a couple of days before they even thought about meeting. And then I found out from my lawyer that even when they meet on the 13th of September, there is no trial date for then. And so I don't want to be awkward and embarrass anybody. As a matter of fact, that those people that believe that their election is going to be dependent on me resigning, I like to encourage Democrats to believe, I think Republicans have given you enough reason to get reelected, and they continue to do something, but quite frankly, I think I've given. I mean, a lot of people don't know, but when well, I don't want to be critical of Ethics Committee because my lawyers said that you can't get annoyed with them because there still may be room for a settlement. And I thought about it, and, well, when I found out that one of the Republicans that will be sitting on what they call the Adjudication Committee had made remarks condemning me for my contribution to City College, that it was a Rangel thing, an ego thing, and a corrupt thing, and he was going to judge me. I asked my lawyer, I said, well, how can they do that? I said, well, the Ethics Committee can do what they want. I said, well, do me a favor. I've paid close to $2 million. I continue to owe you money. And you're telling me that you have no idea when there's going to be a hearing. And every time I talk with you, there's 6 or 7 lawyers. I said, do me a favor. I said, Friday. Let's see what happens today in terms of reaching out to settle this thing, because I can't afford to be represented by counsel. Each and every day, the expenses build up. And I think that I have an obligation to younger members of Congress to be able to tell them, if you couldn't raise the $2 million, you're out of business, no matter what the allegations are, because no one's going to read the defense. And of course, just the allegations by themselves would, members of close districts, Republicans and Democrats, they would be out of business. So I'm here because I could afford lawyers for close to 2 years, but everyone would know that it comes a limit. So I told them, just put everything on hold, see what happens when we meet here. And guess what? Nothing happened. There's no agenda. So what they're saying is that, well, the Ethics Committee will be leaving for members to be able to work in their districts and to get reelected, and I'm having a primary that I have to wait until after my primary to find out when the Ethics Committee intends to have a hearing. And then that hearing comes just before, maybe, the general election. Now, there must be something wrong with the rules, because people would advise me that I can only hurt myself by coming before this committee. Nobody has tried to protect the integrity of the Congress with 2 years, almost 2 years of investigation. They said the mistakes that Rangel has made, it should be public. And it should have been public earlier than now. And I couldn't say anything because I didn't want to offend and don't want to offend the Ethics Committee. But the Ethics Committee won't even tell me when I'm going to have a hearing. And heck, people who are concerned about me, I'm 80 years old. I don't want to die before the hearing, you know. And I think my electorate are entitled to finding out who their congressman for 40 years is. Who am I? Am I corrupt? Did I get a nickel? What did they offer me? And I want to be a role model for new members and tell them the mistakes I've made so they don't make. And so there list the foundations that specialize in providing funds for education for kids. So I'm convinced that the president wants some dignity in knowing that not only am I one of his strongest supporters, but I know that you know that unless we are able to provide education for every child that's there, almost by any means possible, that our nation's national security is being threatened by foreigners. That our ability to be ahead of the curve in terms of trade, and nobody is more supportive of the president in trade, clear up some of the things that's in the Korean bill so that you don't hurt us, clean up a little corruption and violence in Colombia and move on with the thing. So the whole idea is really me trying to have some dignity in making certain that America is stronger. Now, the thing is that in the haste of sending out hundreds of letters, never asking for a penny, but still suggesting, I wish you'd meet with these people, because I knew that I'd hoped that they would convince them to provide money. Now, a lot of people have done that. Doesn't mean it's right, but the rules have changed. And so there has to be a penalty for grabbing the wrong stationery and not really doing the right thing. But it's not corrupt. It may be stupid. It may be negligent, but it's not corrupt. And there's no indication that any sworn committee would say I received a benefit. Oh, some might say that the benefit was that you have a legacy with your name up there. Well, we should go to my website to take a look at my answers. This is a broken down building that you have to run away from if someone's going to put your name on it. But it's still there. Then they say that I would receive a luxurious office. The sworn testimony was they never told me they were giving it to me. Who in the heck needs an office with 40 years of service in the Congress in a broken down building? And then they said, hey, they didn't ask him, we just put it in there so that we'd encourage people to put it in there. They said the name they thought was not a benefit to me, but a benefit in order for them to get money. So I can't imagine why, in the course of all of these things that I used government personnel, I didn't buy stamps. Well, if you think that it's official and you're wrong, then I violated the franking benefits. And at the end of the day, the inferences are very serious. And mistakes can be made, and these things shouldn't have happened. But I can't walk away and have you guys doing your campaign because I'm annoying and the action is out there calling me corrupt. And no one's coming forward saying Rangel's not corrupt, Rangel didn't make a nickel. No witness ever said there was preferential treatment given. And the one guy that had an issue before the Senate, staff, Republicans, everybody said it never came before the House, but they keep putting it down there. And guess what? It was the district attorney of New York for over 40 years that suggested that I meet with him because he was in the education philanthropic business in addition to having business in the Senate, which Republicans and Democrats say never came to the Ways and Means Committee, and staff certainly could prove it. I don't know how far to go with making a mistake and trying to help kids, but you have to be very careful, new members, of making certain when they change the rules that you know what happens. And I'm prepared to say I'm sorry for any embarrassment that has caused. Another issue has to do with having an office, a congressional office, in the building that I live in. Now, forever people say that I've taken advantage and had 4 rent-controlled, stabilized apartments. Nobody has said that the